The tipping at Starbucks has got to stop. I gladly press no tip. When I do not feel bad about it, you can't even make me feel bad about it, okay? Because I will tip other people. Waitresses, yes. People doing like side business, actually putting in effort. But I'm sorry, Starbucks workers, you do not deserve a tip. And I don't mean to be rude or mean about it. It is what it is, okay? Come at me, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm mean.
Big Starbucks news today, folks. Layoffs, rising prices, but people are pushing back on tips. Let's finish up right here. We got a lot of other economic news to get in later in this video, so stay tuned. But let's finish this one up here from this Miss Natalie Mack is her screen name.
Selfish, blah, 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 whatever. I am not tipping you when I just waited like 15 minutes in the drive-thru, and 2, you don't need a tip. Like, what are you doing? You're doing your job, the job that you got hired for, and the job that you applied for. I worked at Loblaws, I worked retail in the mall, at stores. I never once thought I should be getting a tip. You know who needs a tip? People who physically work very hard, okay? Construction workers. My husband needs a goddamn tip at his job. But please take that option off the terminal. Thank you very much.
We've seen a lot more posts like this, folks, where people are sick of tipping, especially at places like Starbucks that are overpriced and still raising their prices higher. And her argument is that people that work more physically demanding jobs, they need the tip. The trash collectors, the construction workers, people that are actually doing physically demanding jobs. Now, if you ask somebody that works at Starbucks, they're going to tell you it's physically demanding. And if you've been on your feet for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours or more, then you know at the end of the day, your feet are hurting. So many would argue that it is a physically demanding job, even though you're just picking up coffees. It's kind of a lot of work if you look back there. And that's true, though, with fast food, people working in the service industry in general, restaurants, servers, of course, make tips. But what about the people that don't make tips? What about the fast food workers? They're on their feet. They're not getting tips. And Starbucks, with the profits that they're making, many are arguing that they should just pay their employees more and not even have the tip option on the menu. And people like one we just heard from, she's tired of paying tips when things are so expensive and when the company's massively profitable. But things may be about to change because traffic has dropped at Starbucks. Let's go ahead and get into that. And then some other economic news we got today on tap for you. Starbucks profits plunged 47% on higher costs. Now, don't get me wrong, they're still making a ridiculous amount of money, and they're still asking for people to tip their employees, of course. The coffee giant insists the numbers do not reflect what the chain store called progress in a business turnaround plan. But profits are still pretty hefty. Take a look. Third quarter revenue fell 3.8%, but it still came in at $9.46 billion. Because of higher operational costs, profits plunged 47%. So revenue fell only 3.8%, but profits dropped 47% to $558 million, far below the $732 million that analysts had expected. Now, Starbucks, they're going to be shutting down hundreds of locations, they're saying, by the end of 2026, amid a Back to Starbucks initiative where they're going to be shutting down mostly the mobile app only locations. This is a CEO that took over, Brian Niccol took over back in September. And they're trying to do basically a turnaround to get more people into the store instead of just going through the drive-thru and instead of just doing the mobile takeout orders, because when people are in the store, they buy more other things. They buy more snacks, they tack on a few other things, swipe it on the credit card, what have you. So that's their initiative to do the turnaround. Now, they're still very, very profitable, so that's why you still have that pushback against the tips. And I'm sure if you ask the workers, they earned the tips, they deserve the tips, they work hard, their feet are hurting at the end of the shift. But some people are finally saying no to the tips. Now, when does it get to the point where people actually start saying no altogether? Because Starbucks is very overpriced. You can go to a 7-Eleven, you can go to a gas station, Circle K, and get a coffee for probably less than half of the price you're going to get at Starbucks, and you may not have as many flavor selections, but you have the little flavors you can put in there. I've done it before, late night drive. I need a little caffeine to get me from Los Angeles to San Diego. I'd stop in a gas station, get a coffee, and make sure I stay awake for that reason. Now, I'm not a daily coffee drinker. I used to be. I tried to cut back on the coffee because I was finding that it was kind of dehydrating me. If you drink enough water, you're fine, I think. But the problem is I wasn't drinking very much water. I was drinking coffee. So kind of shifted my liquid intake. That's for another video, another story, maybe another channel. But what do you think about this, folks? Starbucks, are they on the verge of something worse? Or is this turnaround going to work? Or are too many people loaded up with too much credit card debt? The balances are just too high, where people are going to continue to cut back on spending, and we're going to continue to see the profits drop at Starbucks.
And these prices are ridiculous. So a small coffee is $3 and iced coffee is $4. Caramel macchiatos $5.45. Iced hazelnut oat milk is $6.25. These muffins are $3.45.
$3.45 muffins. No wonder they want to get people back into the store instead of the mobile app takeout or the drive-through only, so they can buy these overpriced muffins.
For a muffin. Looking at these cups, they are,
let me guess, $16.
cute, but $25.
What did I say? $16? $25, folks, for a Starbucks cup because it's got a cute flower on the top. Oh my goodness.
This one is $30.
$30. Who's buying these, folks? This is insane.
Just
People have no willpower. They have no willpower. When they see something that they think is cute or that they think they need, which they don't need because it's probably not a better cup than another cup you can buy somewhere else, probably at Walmart, maybe even the Dollar Tree. I mean, it might not look as nice, but I'm sure functionality is probably similar.
absolutely insane. But if you want to learn how to make extra money because you want your Starbucks, then go to the link in my bio or...
Wow, folks. So let me give you that person that posted that detail. Okay, that's going to be Lynn Aturis. And it's not just about Starbucks. Even if you dislike Starbucks, you never go to Starbucks. It's a indicator of the economy that their traffic is dwindling, right? And it's got to happen. I mean, even though people are addicted to Starbucks, people are buying $30 coffee cups and paying for $6 drinks. The people that are still spending are still willing to pay more. Because with the foot traffic decline, their profits really should have dropped a lot more. But the people that are still spending there are willing to spend more. So the profits aren't dropping as much as the actual traffic. Does that make sense? So the profits aren't dropping as much as the traffic because the people that are still going there are still willing to pay more for these things and buy $30 cups, which is crazy. But that's what is happening. So let me know what you think about that. Does it indicate what's happening in the economy overall? Please let me know. And let's hear from somebody else that's continuing to pay these prices, complaining about it, but still continuing. Sophia Whaley, take a listen.
Just a little PSA to my Starbucks girlies. They now charge for syrup add-ins into your drinks. So my drink that's usually like $5.34 was $6.34 this morning, and I went on the app to see how much a venti brown sugar shake and espresso would be with all those add-ins. Yeah, it's almost $8 now.
$8. And the other drink she was talking about went up $1, folks. This is crazy. But she just said she still went there. She still spent the money. And folks, that's what I want to put out there today. The lesson from this. If more people don't start saying no, and I know people are addicted to coffee, or look for cheaper options. Go to Circle K. Go to the gas station. The places where you can just make your own coffee. You're going to spend a lot less. Not just to save money, but to put some sort of a line in the sand. Because if you don't pull back on the spending, the companies, the businesses, they will just keep raising prices. If you're willing to spend, they're going to continue to keep raising prices. Why wouldn't they? Right? Even the prices at the thrift store. I went to a couple thrift stores over the weekend. A fan, one of those box fans, $14, like $13.99, $14. Walmart had it for $19.99. So why would I buy something used? Who knows how old it is? Might not even last that much longer. And unless you test it, it may not even work. And some of the thrift stores, you can't even take things back. It's all sales final. So why would I take a chance on buying something used that I may not be able to return to save $5 when I can get something new for $5 more and still have the opportunity to return it if I change my mind or if it doesn't work, if it's the wrong color, what have you. It's crazy, folks, but people are still spending the money. It was Goodwill. They were packed. You couldn't barely find a place to park, and they're raising their prices. And that's just one of the messages I like to put out on this channel. You have to just say no. Home price is too high. Just say no. Sit and wait. And I understand it's difficult because when you think prices are just going to keep going higher, you want to get in before prices go higher. That's the fear of missing out. That's the FOMO. And that's the thing that stops a lot of people from actually saying no and not making the purchase, not buying the home. Anything from a home to a coffee to a fan at a thrift store, you have to say no to these higher prices. But if you think that nothing can be done, if you think that people are powerless and that the companies are just going to continue to raise prices, then you're just going to continue to pay higher prices because, again, you think it's going to be more expensive down the road. So what's the harm in buying something because it's going to be more expensive next week? You see what I'm saying? So let's put it together. One, it's FOMO because if you don't buy it today, you're convinced that it's going to cost more tomorrow. People are convinced that prices are just going to go up. That's one part of it. The other part of it is you feel like you're not going to be able to do anything if only you are the one saying no because all these other people are going into the store. There's a line at Starbucks. So just you, one little person's not going to make any difference. So unless a lot of people do it, it's not going to make a difference, folks. So how do you get a lot of people together to say, no, enough is enough? Line in the sand, stop spending so much money. You can put it out on social media. You can talk about it, but it's not going to get out. It's not going to be a widespread message. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something that just organically creeps into the consciousness of the broader population because at some point you've got to say no. But we just saw videos of people still willing to spend an extra $1 on a drink from one day to the next, hike the price by $1, and they're still there making the purchase. All right, I'll give you another example. Grocery Outlet had this organic drink. It's called Organic Life Green Juice or something like that. Green Machine, I can't remember the name. And it used to be $4 and like 21 cents. They raised it to $4.60. Not a big increase. I bought less of it. I used to buy like 2 every time I went to the store. I'd have 2 of them, right? So then I'd go and buy maybe 1 every other trip. Went back there $4.99 this year, so up like 30 cents from last year. Again, not a big deal. I could afford it. I could make it work. But to send a message, I'm no longer buying it there. When I could get a better drink at Trader Joe's now for the same price, similar but actually better, more vegetables and less fruit juice, a little bit healthier. Anyways, that's a trade-off that I did. And will it send a message to Grocery Outlet to not raise the prices anymore? Or are they just paying more from where they're getting it from? So in order to make a profit, they have to charge that price. They have no choice. Anyways, that's my little skin in the game type of, I guess, story of how I'm trying to fight back against inflation. Now, some of you may say, don't buy any juice. It's completely stop going and grow your own vegetables. I get it. There's a lot of things you can do to not have to depend on the grocery store, but most people are still going to depend on the grocery store. Most people don't have time to just DIY everything. You know what I'm saying? People are in a rush. They're stuck on the freeway for an hour each way. They're working a long shift. They just want to go to the grocery store and get their stuff, folks. That's what most people are doing. and they're not about to sit there and try to fight back against a rising price company or a higher cost environment. That's the way it is, folks. What do you think about the Starbucks profits declining? Do you agree with no longer tipping at Starbucks and tips in general? If you want to not tip at Starbucks, you have to expand it out. Do you stop tipping at other places? Let me know what you think about this, folks. Rising price is still happening. People are still spending. As always, keep stacking. Big love. Bye for now. Peace.